Hi, welcome back. We're going to continue on past documentation sheets, and now we're going to go into functions with multiple parameters. So we've seen functions that have one parameter, so we've done that with the print function, with the length function, with the append function as well. And now we're going to do functions that have multiple parameters. So first of all, they can have more than one parameter. Almost everyone that you work with does. It's just that you don't see it. It's behind the scenes. When I showed you that documentation page, you will have seen that there were lots of parameters in the print function. They're just hidden most of the time. So most of the time you don't need to change or use them every time you use the function. It's just for specific cases. So recap on parameters. Here, I've made a function and it's going to have multiple parameters in it. I've called it adding function. It's got 3 parameters: formal parameter 1, formal parameter 2, and formal parameter 3. And it's returning this. I'm describing the behavior of the function here. I want it to return to me the sum of each parameter as a value. Okay, so this is a more advanced use of Python than what you will need, but it serves as an explanation on how functions are made. So this is an example of defining your own function with the def keyword as well. So what follows after def is the layout of all functions in Python. All functions were made according to this layout. So every single one that you use is made like this. It's just way more advanced than that. So every function has the function name. This calls the function for you when you type the function name. If it's a function like append, okay, remember append was slightly different, that acts on a certain data type, like lists, then it will begin with a dot, like a full stop, after the variable name when you're calling the function. So that looks like the name of the list, like list dot append. Okay? And append only works on lists. That's why it's got that dot, because it means it only works on a certain type of data, a certain class. That's more advanced though, don't worry about that. The second thing are the rounded brackets, and they enclose the formal parameters in your function definition, here and here at the end. And then the third thing are the formal parameter names. These are used to define the behavior of the function and identify different inputs as well. They're separated by a comma within the enclosed brackets. In this example, it can be seen that adding function returns the sum of the 3 inputs. Okay, I have defined this function and its behavior is totally arbitrary. It's not an official function, it's just one I've made up. Okay, so yeah, hope that gets across. It's not something you're going to be using, it's just an example. So when I execute the cell to define the function, now it's been defined, I can put in the values 1, 2, and 3. Hopefully you can add them up and you can verify that my answer should be 6. So that's how you use it. I've put in multiple parameters separated by commas in each input. So it's important to know that the order matters. Formal parameter 1 is 1, formal parameter 2 is 2, formal parameter 3 is 3. If I swapped the input parameters around, so if I did 3, 2, 1, then it would mean that formal parameter 1 is actually 3, and formal parameter 3 is 1. In this case, it doesn't matter because addition, it doesn't matter what way round you do things. But if it was something like subtraction, then you could totally change the answer. And when it comes to graphing, it does matter what order your parameters are inputted in, because you need to get your x and y the right way around. Otherwise, you're graphing on different axes and it gets all messed up. Okay, that's a recap on parameters. Now a novice example, slightly more difficult. The example below uses the variable mySum. Okay, so mySum we've got here, it holds 6 currently, and its value in the function adding function to calculate a new number. This example is relevant to learning about printing graphs, which use multi-parameter functions. Okay, and we also use already defined variables in our function calls. A function call is just using the function in code. By the way, that's what that term means, a function call. Remember, mySum holds the value 6. Can you predict what the return result of this calculation will be? Okay, my new sum, okay, that's the variable that's going to hold the value for this calculation, is equal to adding function. So we know the adding function adds up the inputs. We're going to add up my sum. My sum isn't a number. Oh wait, yes it is. It's got 6 in it. and then we're adding 4 and 5. So when we print my new sum, which is going to execute that function and return a value and store it in my new sum, now we're going to show it. Hopefully it should have added up those values, and we get 15. You've got 6 plus 4, which is 10, plus 5 again is 15. Okay, that's all the new material. We're going to end on an advanced example number 2. It's called My Test Results. It's not actually My Test Results. As you can see, there's a bit to it. If you don't want to watch it, skip off. If not, I'm going to go through and explain it. We'll use some of the things covered in this lesson, as well as give a practical demonstration of how they might be used, and some of the things from Python 1 as well.